I said before I didn't want to talk too much about religion, but just on your Instagram, I know you go to temple, and
That's right. Yeah.
how much of a part does that play in yourself?
Yeah. I would say, like, I grew up, in an environment where, like, I was going to temples a lot, and so all of those practices are quite like enriched in me.
Yep.
For me, I think religion slash I'd like to think I'm more of a spiritual person rather than a religious person.
Yep.
For me, I just sort of believe in like a higher form of energy, a higher power that's sort of just like watching over all of us and guiding us. And in times of like stress or dire times, things like that, I just sort of believing in a higher force just helps me take that burden and pressure off myself. It's not really escapism. Like, I still have to do what I need to do to get out of that situation.
Yep.
But I just be like, I just hope everything works out. And then you take that stress off you and hand it to someone higher up, and then things usually work out. That's just how I've seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a pretty gross generalization, but a lot of sort of Christian people around our age, so 20s to 30s, sort of drop off after they leave home. And I noticed in some of the more Eastern religious groups, they don't, such as yourself. Is that because, like you say, it gives you that grounding, it gives you that something to turn back to? Or is it because it's just something that traditionally the family, it's a no, I have to continue?
I don't think it could also be family in some situations, but perhaps, like, for example, how you mentioned I go to the temples and things like that. So like it's also like kind of like an activity to go to the temple. Like you go to the temple, you might go with your friends, you pray, and then there's like food there, so you have a bite to eat.
Yeah, okay.
Like it's also like, I don't want to say it's recreational, but like it's also like a social thing.
It's inviting you in rather than it's like a solemn event where everyone's kind of
exactly
it's more of a
right.
community.
Exactly right.
I'm just putting words in your mouth. Sorry, but
no, but you're right though. Like I feel like the line in India, for me anyway, like I feel like the lines between culture and religion are very blurred.
Yeah.
So like if it's a lot of the things that you do are part of your culture, but then also they end up being religious in some ways. So if you're someone who is rooted to your culture and enriched in your culture, naturally these things it's going to be hard to pull out of that person.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, I see my religion, Hinduism, as more of like a way of life, a more spiritual thing rather than a religion where like, oh, you have to do this, you don't do this, you die. I mean, every religion, if you look at the concepts, they're all very, very similar. Like they talk about the same things. They essentially tell you to be a nice person.
Yes.
So if you can do that, I think it doesn't matter what religion you think you support or anything. Like as long as you're a reasonable human being, that's all.
I 100% agree with that. It's like I said before, it's that moral compass. It's something to go back to. Like you said, they're all very similar.
Yeah.
Don't kill other people.
Yeah, literally.
All those lovely things. But yeah, it's just how you, I suppose, how you can interpret it. And I really like the point that you said before where, you go, and I'm not saying that you go to socialize, but if all your friends are
exactly.
there too, then it's going to make you want to stick it out for longer.
Exactly
and
right.
And then you're also going to get, the spiritual side of it. So
yeah,
I love that idea.
Yeah,
Maybe some other churches need to look at that. So that sort of model.